The Beach Boys, 15 Big Ones, right now on States and Kingdoms.
So the last Beach Boys thing we reviewed was MIU.
Yes.
And we have a soft spot for that record.
I really enjoy that album a lot. I think it's great.
And this is an album I actually have listened to almost least. I guess between between this and Carl and the Passions. You know?
Oh, for sure. This, yeah, same. It's like we're related or something. Like we do the same stuff.
Not really.
Mm.
But so let's
How do we get into this?
There's all of the Beach Boys drama, issues with Brian, everything that's going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We usually try not to really talk about that. We just want to kind of focus on the record, because
That's the point.
That's basically how we started listening to these things anyway. We were just focusing on the music. We weren't thinking about what kind of turmoil was this record came out of.
I try not to. It really kills my buzz.
This album is not loved. And I understand the disappointment. I do. I really do. It's not a masterpiece. I mean, it's quite.
I agreed more when we were listening to it.
Well,
on Spotify.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'm just roundabout saying the thing that I keep saying. I still think this album's underrated. It's around this time. I mean, because we said when we did the Holland review that you could argue that is really the peak for the Beach Boys, Holland, as a band. Because Beach Boys Love You is really, really close to just being a Brian solo album. And so after Holland, you kind of have to take the good with the not so good.
You take the beach with the boys.
And it's not, the albums are not going to be Pet Sounds, all right? They're not even going to be Sunflower necessarily. I mean, you're going to get.
They're not even going to be
what
Love
you're going
You.
to get. But we also have said, and I'm a firm believer, that the Beach Boys really didn't make any bad albums. If you're a Beach Boys fan, I think, there's always something you can get out of a Beach Boys album.
I agree. There's always a charm.
Certainly these
There's
albums.
always, I mean, yeah. They're always going to be...
Yeah. Sorry.
They're always going to be great songs sung by some awesome singers who you love. Nothing wrong with that.
You said that you consider every Beach Boys album a gift.
I did say that.
You did. And I think that's a really good attitude in a lot of ways. And so this album, for whatever its flaws, and the flaws to me are, there are only 6 original songs.
Yeah.
And only 4 of them are new original songs. The others are covers. Right. And the choice of songs to cover is interesting. I mean, a lot of them have songs that had been covered a lot. I've never heard this on CD. We have the vinyl, and I've heard the MP3 streaming, whatever you want to call it. They are very different. I mean, the vinyl sounds a lot better.
It's actually insane. It's a crazy difference. The MP3 just sounds so insanely compressed. It doesn't have any of the power. I mean, when we put the record on, after listening to it a lot over the streaming services, I already said Spotify. It blew us both away.
Yeah, I mean,
instantly.
Because I've never listened to the two things like back to back.
Like so close, yeah.
I
mean, it was such it was almost like it was a different album. It was such a marked difference.
There's a real difference, and we've noticed that Beach Boys vinyl tends to sound better than whatever the CD versions
of all of the vinyl that
the
we've gotten of things that we've known really well. I think the Beach Boys was the biggest.
So the main thing
oh my God,
is
so good.
the low end, which is a staple for the Beach Boys, really. I mean, they always have like awesome bass on on their records. And this is no different. It really isn't. And in fact, I mean, Brian producing this, that's sort of like makes it believable. Because not only is there, a lot of great bass, like even on rock and roll music, the bass on that is really awesome. It's the production on this I really quite like. And like the songs are not up there with other albums. But the production is still really good. I really like the production, and it's got a nice, powerful sound.
It really does. Yeah. It's so full-bodied, and the vocals, you hear, there's just so much going on, so much more than when we first listened. I had no idea that there was so much like nuanced sounds and vocal stuff happening in the background.
Yeah, it's an interesting production, and anyway, so I mean, of the cover songs, like I said, I mean, a lot of them have been covered before. Palisades Park, Rock and Roll Music,
Chapel of Love.
I mean, they're done well, and really, like we're saying, on vinyl, they really do sound good.
Yeah.
I like Blueberry Hill. I like that song a lot. And I mean, Mom used to sing that to us when we were little. I like the
25.
version. Yeah. I like the version of this. I like what he did. It's actually the arrangement that kind of differs most from the original. Mm-hmm. I like it in Still of the Night too. Dennis, and that's another thing. The digital versions, the vocals sound worse somehow because of however the balance being a little bit off,
like
a little bit
super
less
super gravelly. But
I like Dennis's singing on this. We're saying when Dennis around this time started sounding a little bit more hoarse, husky, however you want to describe it.
Plus size.
It kind of suits him and his personality. But when you hear Brian sounding like that, it's kind of upsetting.
It's disturbing.
But I like the production of In Still and I like his vocal performance, and Just Once in My Life I also like.
Yeah, that is really nice.
By Carl and Brian, and that's a really good song.
And
done
it feels
really well.
like it it's like Brian being like, help me.
No.
So many songs sometimes it's like Brian just being like, help me.
Yeah, and Carl had such an amazing voice, and he really is. He sounds great on that. Mm-hmm. So of the original songs, I think most people consider...
No, I would say Headphonia is the best song.
No, I was going to say most people consider It's Okay and Headphonia to be the two best songs on the album, and I wouldn't disagree at all.
I really like Headphonia.
But Headphonia is, I think that's the best.
That's the one.
It's cool. They all sing on the song. It does sound like...
It's reminiscent of
other Beach Boys...
Cool Water, a little bit.
Other Beach Boys songs, yeah. And it's really good. But that's sort of the thing. That's the thing about this album. I mean, the production I like. I don't mind the cover songs at all. I mean, that's fine. But it's a little bit like.
It's a little wishy-washy.
You either do this or you do that, and it kind of winds up being a little bit of neither.
It's a
both,
mishmash.
And there's no like sublime highs on this album other than Headphonia. It's kind of a middling album, but it's still...
there's no like number one standout track that you can point to and say, oh, this album has that on it.
Yeah.
Headphonia is a really fun song.
It's great.
But I agree, it doesn't have a really bad song.
No.
But like you said, it's just middling.
Because even some people don't like it, I guess. But the TM song...
It's funny.
I think that's like typical Beach Boys stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't love all the Transcendental Meditation songs, but this one wasn't written by Mike, and it's funny.
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
It's a little bit of it's got kind of a tongue-in-cheek, kind of jokey thing going on.
It does, yeah.
It feels like it's poking at Mike a little bit in a loving way.
Maybe.
Because he was so into his...
And Mike's song is is good. I don't. It's not. I don't. I don't love it, but it doesn't detract from it. I don't skip it.
Well, you don't think like, oh, I mean, that's not a
the
Beach
easiest.
Boys song.
It's not the easiest thing to. I mean, really, it's too much trouble on vinyl. I'm not skipping. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I'll just suffer through.
Susie Cincinnati is a good song, but of course that's one of the...
Right, yeah, that's a kind of revisit.
Late 69.
That's a fun song.
It is. Back Home, which is good. And it sounds a lot better on the vinyl. And there's a live version on Feel Flows. And actually Brian, I think, sounds better on that than he does on the record even. Yeah. Which is, I don't know, I guess that's nice for what that's worth. That same song.
Yeah.
That also sounds better on vinyl. It's really interesting. It really is. Like, it's not a bad album, and it's a Beach Boys record, but it really sounds so much different on the vinyl. You
would never expect such a difference.
And I haven't heard the CD. I don't know like what the original release, or if they've remastered it since then, or whatever they've done to it.
We'll have to find that and listen to that too.
Like the MP3s, the digitals, the streamings, the whatevers.
The garbage.
They really, it almost sounds like a different album.
It really did.
So you know, if you listen to this on vinyl and you weren't like too disappointed by it at the time, it doesn't deserve the hate it gets. It doesn't.
No.
And it does kind of
freaking Beach Boys.
It leads into Beach Boys Love You. The Moog bass lines and things. I mean, the bass is really something.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with this.
I like the arrangements on a number of the songs. I really do. I don't know what else to say. It's not an album that should really be cast aside so readily. It's actually definitely worth listening to, and particularly this on this format.
Yes.
I mean, if you can get it on vinyl, you should, and you certainly can, because no one is fighting over copies of this.
You could probably get a good deal.
But yeah, I think it's not. I really think it's another interesting Beach Boys record from the 70s.
like we said, we're just repeating ourselves, but there's always something to get from a Beach Boys album. I don't care when it's from.
I think so, yeah.
On that note, hope you enjoyed our discussion about 15 Big Ones. Please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Oh, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And stay tuned because there's more videos coming out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here at States and Kingdoms. So see you next time.